So, last night I was in my living room reading some stories about the black-eyed children and the real-life men in black. It was around 2:30 in the morning and my dog went to the door like he had to go out. I started to get up and he started growling at the door. He has never growled at anything in his life. He's only 6 months old. Then my other dog jumped up onto the couch, trembling and whining. She's a year old. Needless to say, this unnerved me, since I was reading about creepy stuff and was already a little freaked out. So I just sat back on the couch and held my older dog, trying to calm her down. Then a knock came on the door. Usually my dogs go wild, barking and whining excitedly because they love people, but my 6-month-old puppy ran away from it and came over by me. At this point, my heart was racing, and I was just terrified. All the lights in my house were off, and the curtains were drawn. I don't have a peephole, so I peeked out through the blinds of the window behind me that overlooked the porch. There were 2 boys standing there. One looked to be around maybe 5. He was really little, and the other one was about 10, I'd say. They had their heads down and were wearing winter clothes, heavy jackets. I thought this was weird because it's in the middle of summer. Then they both turn and look up at me. I don't have a bulb on my porch light, so I couldn't see their faces, but they looked directly at the window. This freaked me out even more, so I moved away from the window and just sat on my couch. I couldn't believe that this was happening. I had heard that if you knew about them, then they would visit you. Then one of them spoke.
"Ma'am, can you let us in? It's really cold out here and my brother is hungry."
I didn't move, and I didn't reply. I was immediately alarmed because I had no idea how they knew I was a ma'am. I just sat there on my couch. What the hell would 2 young kids be doing out at this time of night anyway? Plus, it's June in Alabama. It isn't cold by any means. I had read stories, and I thought, nope, not gonna answer the door, fuck this.
"Ma'am, please let us in. I saw you through the window. I know you're there. It will only take a moment."
I was like, okay, what the fuck? A moment? What kids say that? I was frozen in fear and just refused to answer them at all. I waited for them to go away and didn't dare look out my window because I just knew that they were right next to it and would be staring back at me with pitch black eyes. Then, after a few seconds of silence, they started pounding on my window, and I heard the same voice again.
"Let us in, please, it's cold. We have to call our mum. She'll be worried if we don't call her."
At this point, I was almost in tears. I just sat back against the arm of my couch and held my legs up to my chest. There was no way I was answering that fucking door. I stayed that way for about half an hour until I was sure that they were gone and everything was quiet. I never saw these kids' eyes. I have no idea for sure if they were black-eyed children, but I definitely believe that they were. I grabbed my phone and called my friend, who had suggested I read the stories, and woke her up and begged her to come stay the night with me. After I told her what happened, she agreed right away. About 15 minutes later, she still wasn't here. I started to get worried, because she only lives on the next street over. I saw headlights in my driveway and looked out the window. I saw her get out of the car and run to my door, banging on it. I let her in immediately, and she was crying, and had this terrified look on her face and said,
"You aren't going to believe this, but I swear to God, I just encountered the 2 kids you told me about."
She said she was at a stop sign and checked her phone for a second when this kid knocked on her window. It startled her, so she looked up and strangely, the streetlights were out, so she couldn't see his face, but there was another younger kid behind him. She cracked the window open, already apprehensive, and said,
"Can I help you?"
And the kid said,
"Give us a ride,"
in a demanding, overly confident voice for a child. She didn't say anything, and the kid stepped toward her car, and he was close enough now that she noticed he had jet black eyes, wall-to-wall black, no white. She said she wanted to drive away immediately, but felt like she was being pulled into his stare, almost opening her door before she snapped out of it. She gunned the gas pedal and went straight to my house. We stayed up the rest of the night together. According to the stories, they usually pay you more than one visit, so I'm going to take a shit ton of melatonin and knock myself out tonight to try and sleep right through, in case they decide to come again. Believe me or not, this really happened, right here in Huntsville. Lock your doors and windows and ignore any child that comes to your door asking for help, especially if it's at night.